The slums of Metropolis X stank of rotting fish and desperation. Matheo's cradle was a crate beneath a brothel's rusted fire escape. His lullabies the creak of bed springs and the clink of coins. By 6, he could pick a noble's pocket without brushing their silk cloak. By 10, he'd learned to forge seals in the flickering light of stolen candles, his fingers stained with ink and ambition. His mother, Seraphine, taught him the first rule of survival. In this city, loyalty is a noose. Cut it before it tightens. But when the plague took her, coughing blood onto their threadbare blanket, Matteo learned the second rule. No one mourns the weak. He buried her in a pauper's grave, then stole the silver buttons from the undertaker's coat. Chapter 1. Double Game. The Master of Whispers. Sebastian's Dungeon. The air in the council chamber was thick with the scent of aged wine and paranoia. Sebastian's fingers drummed on the obsidian table, his voice a blade wrapped in velvet. Lord Varys, the Blackwater docks, no witnesses. Matteo bowed, the Whisper Dagger cold against his thigh. As you command. The thieves' den. Beneath a tavern reeking of sour ale, Lyra, Guildmaster of Shadows, pressed a rusted key into his palm. Sebastian's vault. The plans to burn the lower city are inside. Bring them, or watch your precious slums turn to ash. Conflict. That night, Matteo stood atop the clock tower of size. The city sprawled below like a corpse. The dagger weighed heavy. Kill Varys, and the Syndicate thrives. Steal the plans and risk Sebastian's wrath. He hurled a pebble into the dark. It struck a beggar's cup. Clink, a sound like fate cracking. Chapter 2. Forbidden Fire, the Lover's Gambit. The glass garden, Isolda's laughter echoed among moonlit orchids, their petals trembling as Matheo slipped through the shadows. She waited in the gazebo, her ivory gown glowing like a specter. You're late, she teased, but her eyes betrayed fear. The kiss. Their lips met, a collision of hunger and regret. Isolda's fingers traced the scar on his jaw, a relic of a knife fight in the sewers. Run with me, she whispered, to the coast, to anywhere. Doubt Matteo's pulse quickened. Could he? But the ghost of Seraphine hissed, "Love is a lever. Pull it." He cupped Isolda's face. Soon, he lied. Chapter 3. The Heist. Truth in Ashes. Sebastian's vault. The vault door groaned, its gears oiled with the blood of past trespassers. Matheo's lockpicks danced, click, 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 as shadows pooled at his feet. Inside, parchment crackled under his touch. The revelation plans, diagrams of firebomb placements, quotas for relocation, a euphemism for graves. Matheo's stomach twisted. He'd expected greed, not genocide. The choice. A guard's torch flickered down the hall. Matheo could vanish, complete Lyra's task. Instead, he scrawled a warning in coal on the wall. The phoenix burns at dawn. Chapter 4. Betrayal, the Hound's Chase. The lower city smoke curled from chimneys as Matheo fled, the Whisper Dagger slick in his grip. Sebastian's hounds bayed, half-human things with eyes like smoldering coals. Isolda's capture. A scream pierced the night. Isolda dragged through the palace gates, her gown torn. Sebastian's voice boomed, "Bring me his heart," and hers, still beating. Desperation, Matteo crouched in a butcher's alley, entrails squelching beneath his boots. Save her. Save them all. But the city was a chessboard, and he'd just lost his queen. Chapter 5. The Pact. Blood and Ink. Evangeline's lair. The alchemist's workshop stank of sulfur and betrayal. Evangeline eyed Matteo, her scalpel glinting. Why should I trust a snake? The bargain Matheo tossed Sebastian's seal onto the table, stolen during the heist. Access to the armory, the guards' rotations, everything. Evangeline smiled, a predator's grin, and in return, burn the Phoenix plans and help me steal a queen. Chapter 6, The Last Whisper. Checkmate, the masquerade. Fireworks painted the sky as Matheo slipped into the ballroom, his mask a raven's leer. Isolda stood chained to the throne, her eyes hollow. The duel Sebastian lunged, his sword a silver viper. Matheo parried, the Whisper Dagger singing. "You're a rat," Sebastian spat, "and rats die in the light." The sacrifice. Matheo feinted left, driving the dagger into Sebastian's ribs. The tyrant crumpled, but not before slashing Isolda's throat. The choice. Evangeline's antidote gleamed in his palm. One dose. Her life, or his. Chapter 7. Echoes of the Phoenix, the fractured mask, the docks of forgotten souls. The docks were a graveyard of rotting wood and rusted chains, the air thick with the brine of decay and the whispers of drowned sailors. Matheo crouched beneath a splintered pier, his breath fogging in the pre-dawn chill. The Whisper Dagger trembled in his grip, its blade still stained with Sebastian's blood. Somewhere in the fog, a ship's bell tolled, a hollow knell for the life he'd burned to ashes. Isolda's shadow. In a crumbling chapel-turned sanctuary, Isolda lay on a pallet of moth-eaten velvet, her neck bandaged with strips of Evangeline's alchemist gauze. The wound seeped faintly, a slow poison no antidote could fully purge. Matheo watched her chest rise and fall, each breath a fragile rebellion. "She'll live," Evangeline had said, but her voice, that's gone. The guild's judgment. Lyra found him at dawn, her silhouette framed by the chapel's shattered stained glass. The morning light painted her in fractured hues of crimson and gold. "You've made ghosts of us all," she hissed, tossing a Syndicate bounty notice at his feet. "They've named you Raven's Blight. 10,000 gold for your head, alive, so they can peel the skin from your bones." Matheo crushed the parchment. "What would you have me do? Beg forgiveness?" "No," Lyra said, her voice softening. "Finish what you started. Burn the Syndicate to the ground." The ritual of ashes. That night, Matheo returned to the brothel where he'd been born. The madam, now withered and rheumy-eyed, didn't recognize him. He lit a fire in the hearth, feeding it Seraphine's old letters and his childhood ledger of stolen goods. The flames hissed secrets as they died. Chapter 8. The Masquerade of Knives, a Symphony of Lies. The Syndicate's Ball. The Grand Opera House dripped with false opulence. Chandeliers of cut glass pretending to diamond. Nobles in peacock masks whispering treason between sips of counterfeit champagne. Matheo slipped through the crowd, his own mask a plague doctor's leer, the Whisper Dagger hidden in a bouquet of nightshade. The target Lord Kylum, Sebastian's former spymaster, held court at the Champagne Tower. His laugh was a blade dragged over silk. "To the Phoenix," he toasted, raising a goblet. "May its ashes choke the traitors." The dance Matheo twirled a noblewoman in a sapphire gown, his fingers brushing the poison ring on her hand. "You smell of juniper and lies," she purred. He dipped her, slipping the Syndicate ledger from her bodice. "And you, my lady, of ambition and regret." The revelation in the opera house cellar. Amid casks of rancid wine, Matheo found the Syndicate's new weapon, Shadowfire, a liquid flame that fed on magic. Vials glowed like captured stars, their light warping the air. Evangeline's voice crackled in his earpiece. "Destroy it. Now." The betrayal. The noblewoman in sapphire stood in the doorway, her mask discarded. "Hello, Matheo." Mara, Gale's disciple, her eyes now voids of shadow. "The Syndicate promised me vengeance," she said, shadows coiling like serpents around her wrists. "Starting with you." The dual Matheo's dagger clashed against her shadows, sparks raining onto the shadow fire. The cellar ignited, flames licking the ceiling with serpentine hunger. Mara laughed, her form dissolving into smoke. "You can't kill a shadow, little thief." The escape, Matheo plunged into the sewers, the opera house collapsing behind him. In his fist, a single vial of shadow fire pulsed, a weapon or a curse. In this city, we wear masks until they fuse to our flesh. Tear yours off, and you'll find only another beneath. Graffiti in the lower city, attributed to the Raven's blight.